Okay, this is interesting. I heard that I've seen it. Valve just weaponized your Steam library. What does it mean? I want to know. I do not understand. Let's check out. What the fuck?
Listen up. If this works, it is going to be listen up. If this works, it is going to be huge for gaming. What's going on is that Steam wants to revolutionize how you discover games. They are testing a new system that could kill traditional games marketing as we know it. You might be thinking, God, that's a lot. Why are they doing it now? And there's a very simple reason why. It's because the current system is goddamn broken. I mean, listen to what a recent indie publisher said. Quote, "Times have well and truly changed. Having a great game is still half the battle, but if you don't have the money to pay for success, you'll likely have problems." Now, what they're talking about here is needing massive piles of cash just for marketing. But here's the thing, right?
It is the same when it comes to actually content creation. There is a lot to say about like doing, because when it comes to content creation, marketing is not used per se, but it is well, it's more like if you do decent content, it just have to be decent within like the content creation industry or art industry as well. So doing something decent that you're passionate about, people will actually usually you will find a niche. But the problem is that like within, so the problem is with marketing within like the artistic when being an artist, when being a content creator, is that there is enough individuals that will, well, if you actually release content, if you actually create art, that will actually enjoy your what you are creating, right? What you are putting out, right? But the problem is that and this is like the biggest problem, to get to these individuals that will actually react to your art, you will have to do a lot of self-promotion, marketing, etc., because they will always exist if your content is actually like something interesting, something relatable, something bringing positivity even. You know, like a lot of artists and content creators, they actually like started out doing basically just random stuff. A lot of like the most known content creators started out doing random YouTube videos until something started bringing it, brought them attention, was bringing attention to them, and then from that they were able to create a career on that. So the problem with marketing is that like, yeah, you will tell me you won't fucking, it's useless to pay for to promote your YouTube videos, right? To use the promotional tools. Yeah, but like if you get the chance, right? If you get the chance, better having a marketing that is done online for the content you are putting out or not. It's always better to have it, right? But the problem is that like within this sphere, within this industry, well, that's the problem. It's like we have the tools technically, but at the same time, this marketing side is really difficult to access because of how low the resources are usually when you do content creation or art, you know. And also the bad image it has to actually do this type of promotion, because, well, as much as like it is complicated, but like some of when is a paid promotion, right, on your feed, and you know that usually people don't like that at all and actually skip more than they should, while algorithmically it is promoted to you because it is content that might interest you. right? And so the whole like objective of an artist or a content creator is actually not to create content once the content that you do is decent enough, is not to actually like get more and more fans and supporters, but actually being able to promote yourself long enough or well enough to get to be noticed by your fans and supporters that are already there, that are already waiting for the best next thing, and the best next thing is you to them, because of the number of people online these days. So this is quite interesting. And when it comes to like advertising, like it is quite interesting to see that, like, yeah, usually people, well, it depends on a lot of things. For people like me, it does not matter much, but I know that it will help anyone who is actually trying to make to create something, and to make it is passion, and marketing will help a lot. And usually no one has access to that, because like, why would you, right? Why would you? Where could you find this type of resources? And because of that, a lot of content also like becomes stale quite fast. Stale not because the content is bad, but there are like this idea of fresh content, right? That just got released, the new trending the new viral thing, the new trending thing, right? But at the same time, it gets stale just because, like, well, it didn't got promoted the way it should have, and because of that, like, it passed this threshold where it's fresh, you know, where it's the new thing, you know. And within like these parameters of like and working like using algorithms that we have access to, like, basically this is quite the mathematical problem, where like basically like everyone has a strategy. But it is sad because like some absolutely unbelievable content creators, artists, will never get the recognitions they deserve, just because of incapacity of being able to market themselves before they actually abandon their project. So yeah, marketing will be nice if it was more accessible. And yeah.
That's not even working. There are as many cases of massive marketing budgets leading to just about nothing. And making this video, me and my team know that this is really important, because just about nothing. And making this video working, there are as many cash just for marketing. Problems. A great game is still half the battle, but if you don't have the money to pay for success, you'll likely have problems. Now, what they're talking about here is needing massive piles of cash just for marketing. But here's the thing, right? That's not even working. There are as many cases of massive marketing budgets leading to just about nothing. And making this video, me and my team know that this is really important, because you basically keep telling us. We often cover shit shows or games that just underperformed. And what happens in the comments is you guys say, wow, that looks really cool. It's a shame I never knew it existed. Well, the good news is Steam has noticed, and they're about to change everything. Now, there's also a problem I've seen a dozen times.
Yeah, this is the thing as well. Marketing, well, doesn't work exactly because, like I said, within like the online within the online realm, the life cycle of any type of content is so short, and becomes still so short, and because of so many like trending new trends and new like the new big thing, like back during the internet infancy, the new big thing was every couple months at best, right? Now the new big thing is every week. As a content creator, I barely can keep on with the new releases, and it's a good thing. Yeah, it's a good thing, but like, you get me. Let's keep watching.
And we're going to solve it for free. Basically, you need a website for a project, a side hustle, or even just a landing page, but the thought of wrestling with builders or hiring someone just kind of puts you off. Now that's where today's sponsor Odoo comes in, because they've genuinely impressed me. You see, they are an all-in-one management software for entrepreneurs, and that means invoicing, accounting, project management, inventory, the whole lot, including today's focus, their website builder, and it is properly quick. I mean, it's like 4 steps. Basically, you tell it your industry and your goals, you pick a color palette, or upload your logo, you add your pages, choose a theme, and boom, you have got a website structure ready to customize. And the customization is dead simple. You just drag and drop about the place. There's no code, no headaches. Every block just slides in wherever you want it, and everything is customizable. The text, the colors, the images, the animations, so you can make it look exactly how you want without needing to be a full-on developer or designer. But then Odoo gets even better, because your first Odoo app is free for life. That includes unlimited hosting and support, plus a free custom domain for a year. And then, if you need more apps down the line, they are just $19.99 a month each for all of them. Yes, it is one price for everything that Odoo does. That's an absurdly good value for basically everything you would need to run your business. So, if you've been putting off building that site, simply head to my link to get started. They have made it so easy, so there's no excuse not to. Go check them out. We begin with a simple fact, which is that gaming is in a bit of a crisis right now. Traditional marketing tools are weaker than ever. Content creators need to be paid unless they're trying to hop on a trending game. Traditional press can barely do anything after all of the layoffs that they have faced as well. And, well, they just get forced to make SEO guide slop.
Yeah, well, the traditional like gaming journalism has been killed by independent online content creator journalism, and like this is the truth, because like, well, and the reality of it is that people that work in the video game journalism are people that love video game, but the content creators that do video game journalism are passionate about games, and you can feel the difference. And this is why, as a customer, as a viewer, you will always go to the crazy fan of this game, of video games, rather than the gaming journalist that has an agenda on top of that. Because like video game content creators do not have agendas. They get to tell to say what they want, how they want, and present it. They get to well, have more personality to their content, while gaming journalists are completely stuck in an industry that is that cannot evolve anymore, because it is stuck within business codes that are absolutely unbearable when you see the competition. Or not the competition, the alternative.
There's a lot of problems, and this is all happening in a year with more games than ever before, even more great games than we've ever seen. And the brutal truth is, it does not matter how good your game is if nobody buys it, and that is where Steam is stepping in. And it's doing that in the form of a new test on Steam Labs. So here it is. They've built an 8-week calendar, and it's actually quite similar to what SteamDB already has. Now, the calendar shows you 3 things: games that released in the last month, games from the last 7 days, and most importantly, upcoming games organized by release day. Now, think about this problem. On any given day, Steam might release 100 or more games. So that's kind of not useful. Now, we actually try to solve this over on Loading Screen, which is our newsletter for members. You can check it out at the link below. And over there, every Monday, our members get curated weekly lists, which is all well and good, and it means a shitload to us, but it's obviously not an industry-wide solution, and that's why Valve is building something into their store. So, how is this any different to, say, you just scrolling the popular upcoming list? Well, remember, we're talking about Valve here. If they can't put an algorithm on it, why build it? So what they've done is they've personalized it, where every day the calendar refreshes with new data. It looks at games that you play a lot, then it finds games that similar people have wishlisted, and then it shows you those games. And just like the rest of the store, it filters out stuff that you don't want. That could be early access games, mature content, even ignored tags. You can do all of that to customize this calendar to actually be useful to you. And that means you can see anywhere from 10 to 500 games on one screen. And you can also filter it by tags. As an example, let's say you loved Hades 2, and you want to see all of the recent and upcoming roguelikes. Well, now they're in a visual date-based format, not just a list. Now, what is Steam hoping to achieve here? I think it's pretty simple. What they want is to surface new games that you don't know about. And along with that, they are cutting out the marketing middleman. Yeah, the marketing middleman. Let's talk about how
They are doing something really great for indie game publishers. I really respect that.
how it actually works, because we've got some specific figures from a recent successful game, one that was especially successful on PC, and it's actually the publisher quote that I started off this video with. Here's the game. It's called Little Rocket Lab. Basically just think Factorio meets Stardew Valley. And the good news is, it did pretty well. The publisher, No More Robots, was happy. The developer, Teenage Astronauts, were also happy. Now, Mike Rose, who runs No More Robots, reported around 80,000 players within 3 days. And for the purposes of this video, our question is, well, how did those players even get there? And the answer is, shitloads of middlemen. Basically, No More Robots seems to be one of the good publishers out there. They very actively promote and support their developers. They don't just, fund them, see whatever works, and just demand a cut. So yes, they're a publisher. They are a form of middleman, but, they do actually help you navigate all the other middlemen. Here's where it gets interesting, you see. Mike Rose explained their reveal strategy for this game, and it's this. A wholesome direct that generated 8,000 wishlists. Very good start. It also helps that they had a Game Pass deal. This meant that the game could, quote, recoup all of its costs within a single week after launch. Now, if you don't have, say, a relationship with Xbox, you're probably not going to be getting yourself that Game Pass deal. But getting back to the story, another factor is that the game was obviously really good. And part of the reason why is loads of publisher-backed play testing. So that's all great stuff, but it's actually not what Rose credits for the success of the game. And that's because one of the things they did was a first for the company, and it actually worked. And that thing was putting loads of money into adverts and influencers. I mean, fair to say that we maybe would have a horse in that race. Mr. Rose, you could take out an ad spot in one of our videos if you really want to. But anyway, he says that they spent 50 grand total, and they did a big burst of spend around Steam Next Fest. And then they basically did a bigger burst in the weeks leading up to the launch. Then on launch day, they used ads to make sure that everybody saw the game. Now, I want you to think about that number, the 50 grand. They paid the equivalent of multiple yearly minimum wage salaries just to market the game. Not to make the game, just to market it. And this is probably why Mike Rose finished his post-mortem with this idea. Quote, having a great game is still half the battle, but if you don't have the money to pay for success, you'll likely have problems. And here's the darkest part with it. No More Robots probably still got lucky, because unless you're using sponsor codes, tracking the impact of influencer marketing is incredibly hard. You can easily spend money for zero return. That lack of transparency is a problem. That's one that isn't there as much with regular ads, which can be targeted in an incredibly specific way. When I say that, I mean down to the granularity of, say, particular subreddits. Plus, it's also something that grows.
Yeah, but the thing is that ads made on the internet about video games are actually not watched and not taken really seriously. People fucking hate ads, while content creator type of promotion is something that will connect, because usually the content creator will promote games that they like to a community that like them, and because of that they will find a way to actually I don't know how to tell you. Basically, they will find a way to connect, because it's a different type of community, and it's way more cheerful and way more way less just you see this ad on this random site and it who clicks on video game ads on random sites these days? Everything is a scam. So yeah,
exponentially with your budget. Where the larger your game is, the more money you're going to need to spend. I mean, take a look at some of these numbers. Scopely spent $1 billion on Monopoly Go marketing. Billion, a casual bill. Cyberpunk 2077 spent $142 million, which is 2/3 of the development budget. And even back in 2009, Modern Warfare 2 had $150 million for marketing. The development? That was just $50 million. In an ideal world, sure, they'd put $200 million into just the game, and it would be so good that it would just sell naturally. But that's not the world that we live in. And remember, in some ways, this is a bit of a zero-sum game, where marketing costs are spent to take players' attention from everything else. Because whenever you pay for an advert, you're competing with the other people who could be, paying for that advert. So that's the bit that sucks, that there are some zero-sum dynamics because people have only got so much attention. Obviously, big viral moments and shadow drops also factor in here. Like, say, if Silksong just happened to drop in the launch window of your game. In that case, many indies just changed when their game was launching. But the thing to remember is that all of this effort is just in the hopes that your game gets inside people's heads. It's to drive them towards making a purchase whenever they reach the store. And here's the key difference, right, between overall what's going on and Steam's plan. Current marketing tries to go out into the world and find players wherever they happen to be. But Steam's new plan, well, it gets people where they already are. And it turns Steam into something that you can browse recreationally, that you can browse to find new games. I mean, you know how people may as well just pay a few quid a month so they can kill their time browsing the Netflix library, never actually watching anything. And what it also does for Valve is ensure their platform is essential at every step of development. Steam is big. It practically has a monopoly on PC game sales.
yeah, but at the same time, the thing is, like, when a platform like Steam is actually like ethical and actually a good platform that people can rely on, like, well, it doesn't matter if like they actually take do actions like this that will guarantee even more monopoly over like the gaming industry, because what people want is to connect, and some people are winners and some people are winners because they are passionate and they do the business part well, and they do not betray their customers, and they do not betray themselves.
But marketing a game on PC is actually hard. Marketing on Steam is also extremely hard. There is essentially no real way to reach new players outside of the likes of Steam Next Fest. You see, devs can't purchase ads on Steam, and recent reports even suggested something quite bad, that even if players wishlist your game, that it doesn't guarantee launch sales. Now obviously, yeah, of course, it's not like wishlisting something's a legally binding agreement, but what has happened is the ratio of wish lists to purchases has actually went down over time. And this does actually matter. As we've covered before, devs need enough interest at launch, because without it, they're basically siloed off from players. You basically need the biggest day one that you can possibly get. That means hitting certain thresholds for reviews and things that will help you with the Steam algorithm.
This is exactly like, you see these numbers, this is exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to the how relevant and how short the life cycle of any type of content on the internet is these days. Look at this fucking chart. Like, we went from release to now, and it's like went from 500k to next to 25,000. Do you understand? And this is the reality of all content on this on the internet, and this is why it's so complicated to actually stay relevant, because like, at least for me, what functions is actually like numbers. You just keep adding up, and over time people can actually, like, you always get to be fresh. But other than that, it's so complicated to keep on with this. And because when it comes to relevancy, what people need to understand is that, well, it is like these people, they need to well, they deserve to get revenue from that. And as much as this industry is such as intricate industry, well, like, people need a stable income, but and a stable job. But at the same time, like, the way the industry is built, do not allow this unless you're able to, well, let's say, like, Activision release a Call of Duty game every single year, or like Blizzard able to release expansions in already like well, continuous way that that guarantees that, like, people keep their are secure, you know. So yeah.
The challenge is, if people don't know your game exists, it's quite hard to do that. And the only way to reach new players after your launch is, well, external marketing, which is going to be happening outside of Steam. And that is, I think, why Steam wants to do more for smaller developers at the launch of their games. This is basically Valve trying to develop a system that will counteract some of the things that we've been constantly talking about on this channel for years. They're massively hindering the indie games market. Though they're obviously not doing this just out of the goodness of their heart. They do have their 30% cut, and developers can get far better cuts on other storefronts. But what I would say is that if they're building systems like this, and they are doing things that help your game get discovered, that actually get you more sales, then that is Valve earning their 30% cut. So this is good news, but it's not perfect. There are still some obvious problems that could hurt devs. Like, to get into the system, players need to add games to their wish list, and that would mean the developers still will be needing showcases and marketing to get started.
Yeah, but like, if they create a change like this, it might change customer habits as well. So,
and obviously Steam's algorithm.
And Steam is actually one of the giant in this industry that actually is able to change customer habits by how revolutionary their marketing strategies are.
Games are not perfect. Right now, Steam faces criticism for some of its basic recommendations. They do things like suggest other games in the same franchises. So sure, if you like roguelikes, you'll get more roguelikes. But that actually can be self-reinforcing in a way that's a little bit tricky, because, well, it doesn't really allow for novelty that much, does it? Like, what happens if you just get railroaded into your existing habits? It could make it harder for you to know about other games that you very well may enjoy. So as much as the algorithmic is good, we also do need some more of the subjective. And you could argue the curator system exists to fix that. But we all know the curator system is basically worthless. But at the very least, this is another tool in the belts of developers, which does actually mean, well, there's yet another Steam system for developers to understand. And it does increase Steam's importance as a platform. It does further us being quite locked into Steam. That's something that I do think represents a little bit of systemic risk. It's just, we're so goddamn lucky that compared to so many of the other companies out there, Valve are pretty much one of the good ones. And, well, they may not be in some people's good books if they, thought that investing in CSGO skins was better than investing in regulated securitized assets. But maybe that's a story for another video. Point, though, is Valve does not want you going anywhere else to buy games. That's why they want to make Steam the best thing that they possibly can. That's good. And look, the Ubisoft app, EA's Origin app, all of those things, they get very annoying, and it was fun.
Let me just check one thing. Okay.
Listen up. If they to look at all the companies come crawling back to Steam, because Steam, it's our platform. Valve are our guys. But as much as that does, emotionally feel good, if we want to think about the long-term health of the games industry on PC, we should be thinking about how realistically Valve could be competed against. And that is why I'd love you to leave in the comments, what bits of Steam piss you off? What do you think another company, or maybe even Valve themselves, could do better? Ultimately then, today's story is about buying new games. And Valve's calendar choice is quite telling here, where it's all about new games from this month, games from this week, upcoming games that are tailored to your interests. It's less about hidden gems or old games, and for good reasons. Like you guys have been telling us all year, you don't know about new games whenever they come out, and that means you're not even getting the chance to buy them. They're just getting absorbed into the background radiation of Steam. And that serves nobody, not even Valve. Developers don't get enough sales to survive. They can't work on their next project. Guess what that means? There's no new game to be published on Steam. And you may even miss a piece of art that could define this year of your life because it's that good.
This is true.
Are there flaws of the system? Yeah, there are a few, but I think it's absolutely worth it. This is brilliant. I hope Valve does more. Actually, GG, more of this shit. Do let us know in the comments how you think Steam could be made better. And speaking of a company trying to make...
Okay, so I will actually answer. I'll try to answer. Let me think about like how can you make Steam better? To be fair, like it's actually like fix the only problem that I see, because like because technically, like for me, I'm actually like the type of like individual that actually will dig through the libraries and will take the time that usual customers will not take, even if it means that like it takes me like 3 hours to find like the game that I was searching for. But with this, I think that like this was the biggest problem on Steam, a problem that like no one really cared about. So yeah.